bit per channel TIFF image. If you do HDR, it'll save it as a 32 bit per channel TIFF image. I use normally a zip compression. It is a non-destructive compression. It just makes the file a lot smaller, but I can assure you these files are going to be way too big to email. Sometimes if you crunch a big file, it can be 150, 200 megabytes per image. I always apply adjustments to the saved file. If you're familiar with TIFF, you can have the base image and then you can have your adjustments, but you can save the adjustments, just don't apply them to the image. Open Photoshop, it'll open the base layer and then it'll open the adjustment layers above it. That's great, but the file is so big that it's hard to work with coming off this kind of camera. So I just apply the images to the saved file. I click Save. Like I said, it's a big file. All right, now it's saved. There's the file. Give it a second. And that's what I have to work with. That is a whole lot better looking than the files that I started with. Now I'll show you one or two more other quick things on the software. When you load your pictures, once you register the photographs, you don't have to go through and re-register the stars again. You just click on Stack, check Pictures, and you can change your parameters and rerun the stack. It doesn't re-register looking for the count stars and all that stuff again. You can also recompute the offsets, the angular offsets here. Notice this score on this one image was not so good. Why was it not good? If you look, full width half maximum 6.95 versus a lot lower for these two. Sky background 0.11%, 0.52, 0.54. This image is definitely different than the other two, and it didn't look very good. That's probably why that image is not any cleaner than it was. If you want to see the raw, what it does to your camera, the data coming off your camera, you can tell the software to multiply the raw data channels. Green is always 1. That's brightness. But you can have it multiply the red times 2 and the blue times 2, because you've got 2 green pixels for every red and every blue one. Right, so you can adjust that. You can tell it to use the camera white balance, like if you set it for nighttime or sunshine or whatever. You can have it calculate your own calculated white balance on its own. What it'll do is it'll look for something in the mid-range like stars that are not uber bright and blowing stuff out, and it will calculate white balance. The problem with that is if there's anything in the screen that's not supposed to be white, like nebulosity or galaxies or something, they're all going to be adjusted to white. All the stars then have a false color. For me, yeah, I shoot a lot of fuzzy stuff, so I don't use the auto white balance. You probably for sure don't want to use it, because if you're doing spectroscopy, and I don't know if you'd use deep sky spectra with it anyway, but you definitely don't want to have any kind of white balance adjustments made. You want raw data right off your sensor. All right, the Bayer matrix is that red, green, blue matrix of filters that's in front of the pixels on your camera. How the interpolation is done to take a green pixel and determine that, wait a minute, that's not green, that's actually purple or whatever. How it does that, you can control. The bilinear interpolation is usually the way to leave it.